Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Happy Friday morning to us here in the United States. If you're Openshire, America, you're probably still sleeping, lazy. And Australia, getting quite a few Australian fans recently. It's coming to the end of your day, but don't worry, your weekend is just beginning. So I thought I'd actually start off here by doing a follow-up to my Sekiro video. And a few days ago, I said, is Sekiro too hard? I was hearing a lot of things that Sekiro was a very hard game and that a lot of games journalists were asking for an easy mode. So because I didn't pick Sekiro up on launch, when I did finally get it a few days later and try it, I discovered for myself that the game was indeed very, very difficult. And after approximately 3 or so hours, I was getting a wee bit frustrated, and I tweeted out, Sekiro, no, not for me. I'm not good enough. Now, I didn't poke fault at the game, because I could see what they were trying to do, in as much as it was a beautifully crafted game, it was a beautifully constructed game, it had that Dark Souls vibe to it, because obviously it was from software, but it didn't have the Dark Souls mechanics. You had to reteach yourself how to play. And I was actually amazed at the response that I got from people. I was expecting quite, yeah, you're a bit of a nub. But actually I got a lot of people giving me encouragement to continue. Keep going, Az. Hey, check out this video. You'll get some hints and tips from this. It'll make your experience better. You know, don't try and play it like a Dark Souls game. You got to really kind of emphasize this new style of combat. All these different types of encouraging elements. And it did buoy me and it did give me heart. So I was like, okay, I'll check out the materials which people sent me and I'll give it another go. So I watched a couple of videos, managed to grab a couple of hints from them, and I scored my first victory in the game. I actually managed to take down the first mini-boss, the first general, and it was a wonderful feeling. I felt ecstatic for doing so. And I wouldn't say it quite had the 2007-2008 WoW raiding vibes, but it was a huge buzz. It was a huge adrenaline rush, and I was just like, okay, I get it. I get it. This game is about learning. This game is about starting to master your own abilities and techniques of the sword play. And when you start to chain together these skills that you've learned, progression is there. And we've seen people go very deep in this, complete this, speed runs of this. A lot of videos, at last it's dropped, the penny's dropped, you know, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. So I personally thought the game wasn't too difficult. If you, put the time and effort in, if you started to really learn and knuckle down with the new skills, then you will ultimately begin to progress in the game. So did I think it needed an easy mode? No, because I thought if you added an easy mode, it would be too tempting for people just to fall back on the easy mode, and the game would actually lose the heart and soul of what it's meant to be. This isn't meant to be Tomb Raider, and I don't say that disrespectfully, but this isn't meant to be a Tomb Raider action game. This is meant to be a challenge. This is meant to be a learning curve. This is meant to be difficult. This is meant to be something that you can gain, what Damon is going to say in a minute, badges of honor from when you go through the bosses. And that gives you a great sense of achievement when you actually manage to do things like that. But I thought that was it. You know, I thought games journalism had had their whinge. Some people on the YouTube side had, poked fun at them. And I just thought the whole thing was over. No. IGN yesterday released a video. Should Sekiro have an easy mode? And this, I think, is actually one of the most embarrassing things I've ever listened to coming from games media, to be perfectly honest with you. And the irony is, it's only a 3.5 minute video, but Damon Hatfield, he's the guy, by the way, who faked the Resident Evil 2 review, he actually starts off by saying what gamers think, and it all makes a lot of sense. So let's just listen.
There is a lot of discussion happening in the gaming community right now about Sekiro and the Dark Souls games and whether or not they should include an easy mode, and people have opinions. Fans of these games feel pretty strongly that their difficulty is part of their DNA and that overcoming their mini challenges is a badge of honor. A badge that then creates a community around these games. There's also the argument that the artist, in this case developer From Software, isn't beholden to anyone to compromise its artistic vision.
Absolutely.
If its vision is to create a difficult experience, so be it. Abso-bloody-lutely. Spot on. So that's how gamers feel, and I think that's absolutely correct. Smashes through that in 28 seconds, does Damon. But then it all turns, and this is where IGN takes this video. On the other hand, that difficulty is a turnoff for some people who argue. Some people being games journalists. That many more gamers would be able to enjoy these games if there was an easier difficulty. Now that's an interesting assumption, because everybody can participate in this game. You just have to purchase it and put it into your console or whatever. So nobody is being excluded from this. It's all dependent on how willing you are as a person to learn and progress through the game. Being able to smash through something easily does not necessarily make a good experience at all. It just enables you to see more. Case in point, LFR in the World of Warcraft. It absolutely destroyed the essence of raiding. It's a terrible, if not the worst thing. I mean, Warfronts are here, so who knows. Probably the worst thing that the World of Warcraft has ever added to the game. And what was it? Easy mode. Easy mode. We here at IGN have our own opinions on the matter. Well, actually, you kind of have a singular opinion by the way that all these people talk about. But let's just listen to what some of them have to say.
Look, I love From Software.
Look, I love From Software. Look, I love From Software. I love difficult games, but I'm gonna contradict myself anyway.
I think they're an important and singular developer, but part of what I love about their games is their extreme difficulty. And I recognize that their games aren't necessarily for everyone. I think inclusivity and accessibility are extremely important in modern gaming.
Inclusivity is there for everybody. You just have to pick up a copy. There is no excluding people in gaming. Everybody can be included. You just have to buy the game, pick up the game.
With Sekiro, there are a number of things that have never been in a FromSoft game before.
Good.
Like a half-decent tutorial, and a zombie man that encourages you to practice your shinobi techniques. Now, whether or not these inclusions were at the behest of Activision is obviously irrelevant me, but I feel like it's a step in the right direction. Anyone should be able to experience these games.
They can.
If the answer is an easier difficulty setting or something as simple as an infinite res ability, I'm all for it.
Why? Everybody can experience the games. Why does an easy mode... Just because you can experience it doesn't mean you have to complete it. I recently said about games which I haven't completed, but it hasn't soured my opinion on them. I talked about I completed Dark Souls 2, I completed Dark Souls 3, and I got to the final boss in Bloodborne. Am I disappointed that I never managed to finish that? No. Maybe I'll return back to it one day. But the fact that I actually got there in itself, I felt was an achievement, and I was very happy with the way that I progressed. The same feeling is here with Sekiro. It's not something you have to smash through to appreciate. In actual fact, smashing through, as we just discussed, is likely to depreciate your value of the game. But hey.
I think Sekiro should have an easy mode because the key word here is mode. It's optional. It fundamentally would not change the core game for most people.
No, it would fundamentally, complete and utterly change the core game experience. Because this game is designed for you to learn and develop. That is the premise of the game. When you add an easy mode, you are not learning and developing. You are simply becoming a tourist to smash through and see everything cheaply. Let's move on. We've already had enough of her. Now let's move to Max. Is Max possibly the most unlikable person? I don't know. Anyway.
At video games, I personally sort of wish that Sekiro had an easier mode, but I also recognize that some of the appeal of FromSoft games is exactly how punishingly difficult they are.
Have you noticed how they all have the same rhetoric? Oh, From Software, they're so unique.
They're so different. They separate themselves from everyone, and it's really cool. But you should put an easy mode in and make it easy for everyone because, you know, that in itself is destroying the essence of the company. But anyway.
However, I think it's important to recognize the difference between difficulty and accessibility, and also the idea of difficulty as a whole thing versus little tiny tweaks they could make.
He's not actually saying anything. He's just speaking.
Like, what if FromSoft put in button cues for when you're dodging attacks? Like, what if it was a little pop-up thing, like you...
Oh, okay. All right, Max, I hear you. So you're talking about right here...
difficulty and accessibility.
When an attack is... a big major attack is coming in, and the game says, right, there is a huge attack coming in. We're not going to tell you which one. It could be the sweep, it could be the grab, it could be whatever. But you've got one coming in, and start to watch now, because this has popped up, start to watch the boss and see which one they're going to do. And press the right button accordingly. You mean like that, Max? No, Max means like Batman Arkham games. Because that's what Dark Souls and From Software games are like. We need a Batman Arkham Dark Souls. Jesus Christ in a handbasket. Anyway, I think we've dealt enough with these fools. So let me just click onto this guy. And this is a person called Limitless Squad. And I will link this video in the description box down below. They are a disabled person. And they have put this comment above their video. People saying this game is too hard and want an easy mode. I even saw one post using disabled people with poor motor functions as an excuse for an easy mode. So here's the corrupted monk done by me, a quadriplegic. And with all due respect to them, you can clearly see that they also have motor function problems with their hands as well. And they are tackling this boss, and they are smashing through this boss. Yeah, they get hit. Yeah, they take some damage. But they they pull back, they heal up, they use their abilities which are given to them, they use their movement, their dodges, all the stuff that you do through learning the game, and they eventually succeed. So I'm not going to go any further. I want you to check that out in the description box down below. Watch it for yourself, give them a view, and if you enjoy, give them a thumbs up as well. But it just shows how insincere and disingenuous it is that these games journalists talk about inclusion and they use disabled people as a crutch, as an example, as something to try and push their narrative, when in actual fact this person here, more than capable. So it's possibly the most embarrassing IGN video I've ever seen. Shall we see how it's doing in terms of likes and dislikes? Oh, 382 likes, 1.7k dislikes. Yeah, it's not gone down pretty well, and it's very easy to see why. So, yeah, a disabled quadriplegic absolutely pwns IGN and shows them exactly why a game like this doesn't even need an easy mode. So I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do get a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links are in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.